Hello again, everyone. Apologize to those that might be online waiting. Our 6 o'clock meeting ran a little late, so apologies for being somewhat tardy. We have quorum, so if you don't mind, I'll just go ahead and start and await Councillor Brum's arrival, assuming he's having some technical issues. So I will toggle off and start the process again here. And we lost the mayor as well. Still a quorum. It being 6:51, my apologies. This is a public meeting held by council under Section 34 of the Planning Act 1990 and is declared open. Members are to state any pecuniary interest in the general nature thereof before this item is discussed. I'll take your silence as a no. This public meeting is to consider an amendment to the Township of McNabb Braeside zoning bylaw 2010-49 for part of Lot 6, Concession 3 Point Road. The public meeting is a requirement under the Planning Act. In accordance with the Planning Act, notice must be given at least 20 days before the public meeting is held. Would the clerk please confirm the date the notice was circulated and calculate we have the required 20 days notice?
The notice was circulated to all property owners within 120 meters of the subject property on April the 6th, 2021. It was mailed to all the agencies as required under the Planning Act. And the notice was also published on the township website on April 6, 2021, the website calendar, and posted on the property site.
Excellent. Thank you very much. The 20-day notice having been given, I now declare this meeting properly constituted to transact its business. Any person wishing to receive written notice of the adoption of the amendment being considered at this meeting must leave their name and mailing address with the township clerk in writing. As required by Section 34, subsection 14.5 of the Planning Act, council is required to inform the public who is entitled to appeal to LPAT under sections 34, subsection 11 and 19. Under Section 34, subsection 11, if council decides to refuse an application or refuses or neglects to make a decision on an application within 120 days of the municipal clerk receiving the application, the applicant or the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing may appeal to the LPAT by filing an appeal with the clerk of the municipality. Section 34, subsection 19 states no later than 20 days after giving notice of the notice of passing of the bylaw, the applicant, any person or public body who made oral submissions at the public meeting or made a written submission to council before the bylaw was passed, or the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing may appeal to the LPAT by filing an appeal with the clerk of the municipality. Would the clerk please give a description of the proposed amendment?
The subject lands are part lot 6, concession 3 in the geographic township of McNabb, now in the township of McNabb Braeside, located at 1138A to 1138F Point Road and 106 Point Road. The public meeting was to inform the public of the proposed zoning amendment to be held this evening at 6:30 p.m. The purpose of the amendment was to rezone 3 properties totaling 4.2 hectares in area to permit the expansion of an existing cottage establishment and permit 2 new single detached dwellings. The effect of the proposed zoning bylaw amendment is to rezone the lands from tourism commercial to tourism commercial exception 4. This applies to 2 separate lots containing 1138C to 1138F Point Road and 1106 Point Road, to permit a total of 11 detached cottages consisting of 4 existing cottages, 6 new cottages set back to a minimum of 30 meters from White Lake, and the conversion of the dwelling to a cottage, to permit all buildings and structures existing as of August 21st, 2018 in their existing locations, and to permit a new single detached dwelling, and to recognize 2 lots as a single lot for planning purposes with no required setbacks at the internal shared property line. Tourism commercial exception 5 applies to a single lot containing 1138A and 1138B Point Road to permit existing single detached dwellings, 1138A, and to permit the existing cottage, 1138B, and to permit all the buildings and structures existing as of August 21st, 2018 in their existing locations. The number of studies and reports that were submitted in support of the application, which were all submitted on the agenda this evening. The notice was signed by myself and dated April the 8th, 2021. That's it.
Thank you very much. Were there any written comments received?
Yes. Hydro One has no issues with the rezoning for the proposed properties. The township chief building official will provide more detailed comments and or conditions after a more thorough review. This property is subject to a site plan control before development. The township septic official will provide more detailed comments and or conditions after more thorough review. The property is subject to site plan control before development, may require MOE approval if flows exceed 10,000 liters per day. Enbridge Gas does not object to the proposed applications, however, reserves the right to amend or remove development conditions. Public Works will provide a more detailed comment and or conditions after a more thorough review. And that is everything.
Excellent, thank you. Mr. Howarth, would you have any further comments for this application?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So you have my report in the package, so I'll try to be brief. We already heard what the application is proposing to do. There were several studies that were submitted in support of the application. There was an archaeology assessment, an environmental impact study, geotechnical investigation, hydrogeological investigation. There was also a technical memorandum concerning looking, I think, specifically about the potential impact of more septic systems on White Lake. And there was also a planning report on the zoning bylaw prepared by Xander Plan. The recommendation at this time is that the application be approved, subject to, unless we hear any comments or concerns tonight that need to be addressed. Staff have reviewed the application and feel that it is consistent with the provincial policy statement and the official plan, and can be given favorable consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Would any members of the public wish to speak to the amendment? And I'll just preface this by saying this is not the applicant or the agent of the applicant who will have an opportunity to speak next. And if there is a member of the public that wishes to speak, please state your name beforehand.
Hi, it's Matt Albers from White Lake here at 111 Burnstown Road. We're immediate neighbors to the proposed development here, and I just wanted to provide our support. We think the way that the development has been handled to date in terms of planning and the let's say the open nature of the conversation and the plan that's being put in place has been fantastic so far. And if we had the opportunity to do any one thing, we would ask all of you to consider potentially upgrading Point Road. But in terms of the development itself, it's been fantastic, and we're fully in support. And we are immediate neighbors. So thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe your road is on the list. I'll say that. I don't know exactly where it is on the priority of the list, but I know it's on the list. Any other members of the public wish to speak? Okay, I'll just make sure I have the correct order here. And then does the owner or the agent of the property wish to speak to the amendment? And again, please state your name.
Yes, this is Dave Conley of Ocean Properties. We've worked hard on this and we're excited to start the build and allow people to come up and enjoy our community.
Thanks very much, Dave. And then comments or questions from members of the committee. Holy jeepers. Heather, are you putting up your hand or?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll go Heather, and I saw Scott, and I believe at least Oliver or Tom had their hand up as well. So we'll go with Heather first.
Okay. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Armston. So, of course, I live in the White Lake area, so any development on White Lake is a particular concern to me. You know, there are pressures on the lake in terms of water quality and that, but I am encouraged by the quality of the studies that Mr. Connolly has engaged. I'm encouraged by the setbacks that have been put in place, so I don't see that this will have a negative impact on water quality. And I'm sure that Mr. Connolly, who lives right at the property, is equally concerned about water quality and wants to ensure that you know, the quality is as high as he can preserve it, you know, without negatively impacting in the future. So that's all the comment I wanted to make.
Thanks very much. Mayor Peckett?
I think you had Scott or Oliver ahead of me.
Okay. Scott?
I just wanted to clear, this is the one we saw about 2 years ago, and then they were to go away for studies and, okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that I had this one clear.
Thank you. Oliver, did you have your hand up? No? Okay, thank you. Mayor Peckett?
Thank you, Chair. It's probably in the report. I just can't recall at this moment. The biggest concern is always in White Lake has been gray water. And Bruce, in your reports, there is there something in there to indicate how the gray water is being handled? I'm sorry, it probably is, but I can't recall. If you could just jog my memory a little bit, please.
Sure, through you, Mr. Chair, to the mayor. So there is multiple reports that have been done. So one of them was the environmental impact study. There was the hydrogeological study, and then there was a second sort of technical addendum specifically looking at septic systems and whether or not any nitrates or other effluent would have any impact on the water body. So the studies did look at all the water, whether it's gray water or storm water, or the effluent from septic systems, and the reports recommended specific setbacks and protections of vegetation buffers, for example, as ways to make sure that the water quality of the lake will be protected. And so it will be through the site plan process that those studies get implemented to make sure that White Lake is protected. And I think the owner is committed to doing that and has provided, again, some quality reports and recommendations that the township has some action items that can be implemented in those site plan agreements.
Thank you. And just a comment, Chair, if I may.
Certainly, sir.
I just want to say to Mr. Connolly, thanks for investing in the township. And I think this is a very good project going forward. And we certainly would like to see growth in the White Lake area. So thanks very much, Dave.
And again, actually, just before I provided personal comment here, anybody else wish to add anything from the committee? I always preface this by saying that I don't like to reiterate what someone else has already said, but I'm going to do it anyway. I would echo the statements by Heather and Tom that the Connollys have been longstanding members of the White Lake community and are users of the White Lake system constantly. So I hope that based on the studies that have been conducted thus far, that it's proof that they are striving to be extremely good stewards of White Lake and the area. So I was thoroughly impressed by the amount of study that's already been conducted. I don't think that we've seen this amount of studies at this juncture in the process Again, Dave, congratulations to you and your team for bringing forth a very complete study and proposal, even at the early stages. This therefore completes the public meeting process. Council will give careful consideration to the arguments for and or against the zoning amendment requested for the property. The bylaw will be brought forward to the May 18th. Just double checking. Yes, May 18th, 2021 meeting for council for consideration of passing. I now declare this public meeting closed. Thanks very much, everyone.